Hello and welcome to this week's IG Live. I'm excited to be talking to a longtime member and contributor to Multicultural Kid Blogs, and that's Yolimari García. She is an author, a book reviewer, and also a library technician, so she is the perfect person. Hello. She's the perfect person to be talking to us about book recommendations for Hispanic Heritage Month. So we're going to hear a little bit about what she does as far as what a library technician, what that job actually entails. Hello. Heritage Month. So I'm excited to be talking to her today. This is actually the first time we were talking face to face after working together for many years. Hello. Well, welcome. Why don't we go ahead and jump right in? Like I said, you are the perfect position to make book recommendations because you are a library technician, you review books also, and now you're also writing your own book. So why don't you introduce yourself, and then I thought it'd be fun to if you could tell us a little bit about where your love of books comes from, because it seems like you do so many different things, but they all really center around books. So where does that love come from?
Yes. Well, first, thank you for having me. Well, my love for books started when I was like teenager. I was 13, around 13, and then Hurricane George hit Puerto Rico, and we were without power for months, so there was nothing to do. And I got the flashlight, the candles, and I started reading Isabel Allende's The House of the Spirits. And then I was obsessed. I was like, since then I have been reading and getting more obsessed with books, like, yeah, and then and writing them.
Wonderful.
Now.
Well,
so,
why don't you talk about maybe a little, I know you have some really great recommendations you're going to give to us, but before we do that, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your work as a library technician. I have a great love for libraries, but I think a lot of people have a pretty outdated view of what librarians and library workers do. Maybe could you just tell us a little bit of what is that like?
Okay, so yeah, people think like librarians just shoot people. No. There's a lot of things that go in a library that are done a lot, and yeah, people are not aware. Yeah, okay, so let me start with the library aides, for example. They help with shelf reading. That will be making sure that the books are shelved in order, and then shelving the books, and then usually attending the circulation desk. Then there's library technicians like me that in different degrees do almost everything like a librarian, but they don't have the degree. I have a master's degree in history, in European history, but I don't have the degree in librarianship. So what library technicians do is they do programs like story time, book clubs, if you have movie night, craft afternoon, or stuff like that, STEM, Pokemon, Lego, game day, all of those, they're in charge of those. And then some library technicians like me do the programs and also do the cataloging. And that's one of I think it's my favorite part, because that's the people who decide the books classifications. Like when you see this right here, this is me. People like me. Yeah, I get very excited who decide what goes in here. This is the classification label, and that is how those determine how the books go in order in the library. So what I do is I get the records for the books, the bibliographical records from a place called OCLC. I revise them that they match the book exactly, and then I export them to my library system, and then I input all that data into the bibliographical record of the book, and then the book is processed with that information, and I have aides and other coworkers label the books, and then we tag them so people don't take them away from the library from permission, without permission or without checking them out. And then they're ready to be shelved. And then the librarians, what they do is that they're in charge of the administration of the libraries. Like they're the big boss.
So you're the person that decides
Yeah.
when a book comes in, like what keywords are going to show up. If I'm trying to find a book about a certain subject, you're the one who decides which subject that's going to be tagged with and where it goes on the shelf. Like which, is that what you're saying? Like which subject is like, is this going to be shelved with European?
Okay. So for example, this one, it's, I have to check that the author, the themes, the year the book was published, everything matches the record that I select and transport to my library. But then those records are already done by someone in the Library of Congress. So the best records are done by the Library of Congress. Sometimes we don't have those, so we have to pick another one that another person did, but it should be matching usually everything that is in the title verso page right here, and the ISBN number right here, and the price and everything. And then yeah, what I do though is that when you're in the catalog looking for the book, that you're gonna see that this is the title, it has the right title, the right author, and that yes, the right subjects. But I didn't pick those subjects. It was the person who created the original record, probably a librarian in the Library of Congress or somewhere else, because that will be original cataloging. I could learn that one, but they haven't taught me that. I have cataloging certification, but not that one.
But that makes it sure it's consistent with all another library. No matter which library you go into, it's going to be consistent how it's shelved and how it's cataloged, right?
Yes. Yeah, because that's another thing I do. I put the holdings, that is the record of this book that my library has it in WorldCat, and usually those records are kind of universal. So they, when you see, oh, this library has X book, it's the same kind of record in the other library. So interesting, because
I think that's the kind of thing that most of us don't really even think about. We go to the library to check out a book, and you don't think about all the work that goes into making sure that the book matches what's in the computer, matches what's in another library, all that work that happens behind the scenes that makes it so easy for us to go and find what we're looking for, right? Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and people don't realize. And then also, there's the work with the accounts, the patrons' accounts. They have to be current with the patrons' information. If they leave, we have to delete them. If they change address, it's a lot of work. And then there's interlibrary loans too. My current library doesn't do it, but libraries also in the same system, they exchange books because maybe this library doesn't have one and they can order from the other library. And that's another work.
Yes, I'm sure that is, because we make a lot of use of that in our library system. We're always requesting books, and I just think about how much work that is. They have to request it, then they get it, and they have to put it on the hold. Somebody's having to track all of this. So it is a lot of work, and it's something that we can all access for free. I mean, obviously our tax money goes to pay for it, but we don't have to pay anything additional. And I think that's something that's really amazing about libraries, is that so much else in our society, in order to participate in, you have to pay. I mean, even just as a place to go and just be without having to pay any money, you can just sit and do your work or read. It's like a really amazing community space, and we don't have a lot of free community spaces anymore.
Yes, it's true that people can go and relax, read a book, watch a movie, because libraries have movies too, or you can hear an audiobook, or some libraries have computers that you may go to the library because you don't have a computer, and you can do your work in the library's computer lab. And that's another.
And of course, one of the main things that we think of as library is that the library workers are so knowledgeable about books, and we can go to them and ask for great recommendations, which you're going to give us today. Of course, we know we're in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month. and you have some great recommendations that you wanted to give. Some are new and some are maybe from past years of children's books.
Yes.
So what do you have?
Yeah, I got from all ages. So let me see okay. First is this one, Plátanos Are Love by Alisa Reynoso Morris. This is gorgeous. The inside illustrations are gorgeous, and it's an ode to plátanos that people consume a lot in the Caribbean, in Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. And it's an Esme, the main character here, and her abuela, they make plátanos in different styles, like fried and maduros, and then they also talk about their heritage. So this is wonderful, and this came out this year. You can, yeah, this is beautiful, and then.
Okay.
And this is a picture book. And then perfect for, this is my favorite book. This is one of my favorite picture books. This is Gustavo the Shy Ghost, perfect for the season, by author illustrator Flavia C. Drago here. This is a special edition because of course I saw it and I was like, I have to have that one. And then it has papel picado inside, but I didn't take it out because I want to preserve it. Either way, it's about a ghost that is super shy, and his name is Gustavo, obviously. And then he wants to make friends, but he's so shy, and he likes a lady, but he's so shy. And then he comes up with a plan to make friends. And this book is awesome. Just the illustrations, like. I am always recommending this book. I love her illustrations and the story, of course. And then now she came out with this one, Layla, the Perfect Witch, and Layla is a perfectionist, and she's excellent at everything, but then she wants to win a baking competition and things don't go as planned, and she has to learn to get help. So this is beautiful too, by Flavia C. Drago. And those are picture books.
Oh.
And then we of course have Coco, La Torra Puertorriqueña by Frances Diaz-Evans. She's a member from of Multicultural Kid Blogs too. And this is wonderful because you learn about the Puerto Rican parrot and her habitat in the Yunque in Puerto Rico. It's wonderful.
And that one
And then,
is going to be, I mean, that's in
okay,
Spanish, but I believe she's working on an English edition also for those who don't speak Spanish.
Yes. Yeah. So this is Spanish, but she's doing it in English now. Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. And then, okay, so these are non-fiction. These are for tweens, like juveniles from 9 to 12-year-olds. And it's Be Bold, Be Brave, Sé Audaz, Sé Valiente, 11 Latinas who made U.S. history. And they talk about Ellen Ochoa, the astronaut, Sonia Sotomayor. Look, Ellen Ochoa. My daughter, she dressed as Ellen Ochoa for a history walk in school. They were pretending to be like wax figures. And she was Ellen Ochoa. So she got info from here for her project. And then this one is about the Latinos. Fearless Trailblazers, Pioneros Audaces, 11 Latinos who made U.S. history. And then there's Lin-Manuel Miranda, of course. And then, let me see what else. So if you have a kid who has a project for school, these books are perfect to get info. Carlos Santana, the musical icon. Cesar Chavez. then this one is Luna Oscura, and this one is bilingual by Haiti Moreno, and she did both the writing and the illustrating. And this cat, Luna, she is ostracized from her cat community deep in the forest because she's different. But then she makes a friend, Toad, and they go and find their forever home. And the illustrations are stunning.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that there's so many books these days that are all about kids who feel, or characters that feel different, and then they find out how to, you know, be more themselves and not worry about what people say. I love that theme.
Yes. Yes. And those were the picture books. Okay, now for juvenile twins, I always recommend Mercy Suarez Changes Years by the wonderful Meg Medina. Mercy here, this is the first of a trilogy. She's in middle school now. She's growing up, and it's hard because she's dealing with her grandpa's recent Alzheimer diagnosis, and she has a bully at school. So it's like how she deals with all those new pressures of growing up, and it's wonderful. It won a Newbery, and Meg Medina is the national ambassador for young people literature now. I think she's the first Hispanic to be in that role. So yeah, Meg Medina. This one, Mercy Suarez. I love this one. And then okay, this is for young adults. Flirting with Fate by J.C. Cervantes. It came not long ago, and I love this book because here Ava, she, in her family there's gifts like a bendición, and then you inherited these blessings from the maternal line, and then sadly she misses when her grandma is dying to give her gift, her blessing, and because she misses the event because she's in a fender bender with a boy, and then she's like heartbroken because she's like, oh, I miss my blessing, but her grandma's ghost appears and said, no, you haven't you missed your blessing, but I sent it. It's just it landed in someone else, and she has to find the blessing. It turns out it's the boy that she had the fender bender with, so she has to find a way to get her blessing, and then in the process she gets him, she like, because she's very guarded, so she has to navigate her relationship with the boy too. So that's for young adults. And then okay, this one is more like for young adults and maybe adults, and this is Pedro and Daniel by my friend Federico Heredia, and I have the honor of beta reading and be one of the person who edited this book a bit, because I was a beta reader. I helped him a lot with the Spanish, and it has a lot of wonderful reviews from Publisher Weekly and Kirkus reviews. It has stars reviews. So it's about two brothers, Pedro and Daniel, and they are growing up. The book goes from when they're little kids till when they come of age, and how they navigate that they're gay and their family their mother doesn't accept their identity, and she also accept the color of one of them, because the colorism in Hispanic culture can be a thing, and it's heartbreaking, but it's beautiful at the same time. And his writing style, it's is striking because he has prose, some dishes, like some poems, like it's amazing. So yeah. And then this one I'm currently reading. This one is Brief and Count Back from 10 by Natalia Sylvester. See, I am right here. And this is getting to be very interesting because here Veronica, she has a condition called hip dysplasia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And then her parents are Peruvian and super strict. And they catch her with a boy. And they're like, no, you're not going to be with no boys. You have to stay. I don't want you 1 mile. I don't want you 10 meters from a boy. But then she meets a new neighbor, Alex, and she has to hide that she has this new friend. And also she wants to be a mermaid, a professional mermaid, not like because there's a group called the Mermaid Club, and they're professional. They dance underwater as mermaids, and then she has to do like have her friend do the mermaid thing, but then she has to deal with her parents, and it seems like her parents are also keeping a secret about her condition. So yeah, so I haven't finished, but it's good.
Those are
I think those are my
some of them I had heard of, some of them
now.
I had never heard of before, so I can't wait to check those out. And what great! I love that also that you did it for all ages. So no matter what age your kids or your students are, you can find something for them. And also several of them are part of like a series or a collection, like the Mexico one. So once you get started, you can read all of them. And I also want to make sure, because I know we're coming up on time, but I want to make sure you have time to talk about your books, because in addition to you do so many book reviews and you work with books obviously all day at the library, but now you're writing your own books, and I know you're still working on them, so they're not available yet, but can you give us like a preview of what kind of things you're working on?
Okay, so yes, I do book reviews when I have time. On my blog, Glitter Reviews, and I also interview friends of mine that are authors. And then yes, I am writing books, and I am in the querying trenches, as they call it. I'm in the war zone. But right now I stopped querying because I'm polishing my manuscripts, and I have children's books right now. But I want in the future to write full time, hopefully, and then write for all ages. And then, but what I have now, it's books about culture, because I am Puerto Rican Cuban American. So I grew up with this, and this and that, and about that, being Puerto Rican, being Cuban, and then I have also, but no, I don't want to write only about my identity and my culture, whatever. So I have also books about Halloween, and then fun. I have one about mermaids. So yes, and I want to write about my dog because he's so funny. My dog's name is
all of those. So. I mean, all of those sound like books that I would read. Like you said, I think it's cool to have some that are about identity and some that are just fun reads about other things, especially the dog. I know my daughter would love that because she reads books about.
Yeah, and also also before I forget, I also write about moving because I move a lot because I'm my family is in the military, so I have moved 11 times in 15 years. So my books, there's, and then that about like I went from Puerto Rico to live in Germany, you imagine. So I have about that experience as well, because the shock of it, about it was a shock, but it was a good shock. Yeah, a very good shock.
Well, I love it. And remind people where they can go to find you online. I know, I mean, obviously you can just go to your Instagram, but are there So if I mean, that's where people can find your book recommendations, but you also have a website, right?
Yeah, I have glitter reviews. Well, it's glitter reviews.com, and then but I am on Twitter. Uh, by my handle is Yolimari García, and then I have been taking a break, but I will go back into it, and then I have my Instagram, Yolimari García, as well, and then yeah.
Yes, well, so
That's
that's where you can go for
find me.
great book reviews, and also watch for when your books become available. I can't wait for that. And thank you for joining us in these wonderful book recommendations. I don't know if I'll be able to list them in our Instagram, but I'll definitely do that when it goes up on YouTube, so people can have it written down as well. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. Yes,
Thank
thanks
you for
everybody. We'll
having
have this up on
me.
Instagram in just a few minutes, and then later it will be on our YouTube channel. Bye everybody. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.